How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another, I guess, install video. So what we're looking at are the Govee Underglow LED lights. Now, when you're looking for these lights, there are two different kinds. One of them will have just 4 of these little light strips here. Better suited probably for a sedan or a car. And then they have some that actually have 8 strings of lights, which I thought would be better for a truck. I was hoping to get it around both the front, back, and sides of the truck, but even with the 8 strand of lights, it was just best suited for the sides of the truck, not really the front or the back. Now, not too bad. As we get into a little bit later, you'll see that I don't really have a whole lot of places in the front or the back of the truck to put lights anyways, so I think it turned out pretty decent. This is just more of an overview video. I did not have the time to record the install, kind of did it on a spur of the moment thing, but I'll go through step by step what I looked for, how I installed it, and where I placed it on a 2020 Toyota Tundra. Now, installing it on the truck, one of the things that I wanted was to be in the wheel wells for some lights to kind of show that portion of it, as well as any lights that go underneath the vehicle to not be in the way of possibly getting scraped or damaged if I ever go camping, off-roading, anything like that. And we do light off-roading, so I want to make sure that if I'm going to bottom out somewhere, I'm not going to ruin the lights that I installed. The first thing that I did is open the box, actually crawled underneath the truck and put all the lights underneath the truck to kind of lay it out and see where I wanted to go. That's not the best option. I don't recommend trying to lay them out on the outside, because I actually installed them all from the on the inside, because I installed them all from the outside, and I'll show you guys how I did that. Alright, again, since they're already installed, I can't really show you, but I take this string, let's say this is the wire the battery's connected to, I have my control module, and then I Y-split. So you want to stand in front of the vehicle and kind of split your items across on one side to the other side and lay them on the outside of the vehicle as you are looking for your install. So if I start in the back here, you can kind of see, there you go, you can see the light strip here. I'll try to put it up in between a groove on the liner, and the wire comes down. I did it to where the wire is pretty tight. I didn't drill any holes in here because these items are all one piece. So if you're going to drill a hole for the wire, you'd have to actually drill a hole wide enough to put the light strip through, because they are all connected. You can't remove them at all. But when you stand back, you can't really see that light strip. Now, for the sides of the vehicle, again, I wanted to make sure that I didn't scrape on the ground anywhere. So I actually put these on the side of my frame, as opposed to being underneath. Plus you have these like grommets here which kind of get in the way. You can kind of put them back here if you want, and the grommet might save you, but just a rule of thumb for myself, I put them up along the sides. Now what you want to do is lay these out and see exactly where you're going to put them before you stick them, because once you stick them, you're not really going to remove them, and if you do, the stickiness isn't going to work anymore. On the back of these lights here, there's like a 3M sticky tape that holds it to the vehicle. Now, Govee does have a few grommet pieces that I'll show you in a moment, which would help with that. But I've had other lights from Govee. I have my permanent house lights. I'll show you guys a quick snippet of that in a moment. That also uses the 3M tape, and they've been up for about 2 years. So I trust the stickiness with Govee products. Now, since I'm back here, what we're looking at is how we're going to get this wire. So I ran this wire back from the chassis up underneath here, up to this part, and then you see all the extra wire here, and just kind of wrapped it together, zip tied it, and then zip tied it to a piece of the frame here I also zip tied it to a piece of the frame up here, which is keeping the tension from underneath that wheel well. This way it's up and out of the way. From the other angle towards the front, again, I laid these out, stuck them on there. Try to do it pretty tight across that end because there's a wire that connects these two strips, and then followed along the chassis up to here. Now, the other thing that I was doing when I was installing these, I was looking at any part that if I ever had to get my car serviced or something replaced, where can I stick these where it wouldn't interfere with that. So there's like a little cap here, I wanted to be above that. There's another cap right here, I wanted to be above that just in case. And then you have these clips that are holding wires on the inside. Wanted to avoid any of those as well. So I think I did a pretty good job there. Underneath, again, you have excess wire here. I just zip tied it to my steps. See if I can get the camera angle all set. Ran the wire through here and into the wheel well right here, which I'll show on the other side. So the wire actually comes in this back corner here. You do have to remove these 4 brackets. Sorry, do that again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And to get the wire in through this little gap right here in the wheel well. Now there's another grommet right here, so I didn't go through there. But with the light strip being there, I did the same thing on this side through this little opening here. You have a couple more grommets on this side, here and here. They have to take off. On this truck, these 2 were just screws. Back here, there were 2 screws, but underneath these screws are actually these grommets, and these things are the biggest time consumer. They're very difficult. You can see right here, I broke this one. I'll kind of give you guys an idea of how to get those out, but they're not easy. So let me see how close I can get. You kind of see there's an indentation here and an indentation on that side, but on this side and this side, they're actually little like clips in there, but you have to squeeze this side in and squeeze that side in, and then try to slowly pry these out without breaking them. Again, you can see that I broke this one a little bit, but doesn't really matter, it still holds it all together. Eventually I'll replace that. Alright, so now we're under the truck on the front. I ran the wire again through this liner, and then back through here. You can kind of see the wire back there. My hand's in the way. There's a gap right here. Your truck may be different. You may have all this plastic. Due to my lift, my tires, we had to do a bunch of plastic trimming, so all this is gone. It kind of gives me open space to work. Again, you have excess wire here, just zip tied it, and underneath here that holds the metal bumper to the frame, I just zip tied this wire to that part that holds it up. Under here you'll have these grommets if you want to get under it. This is my skid plate. These are easy, they just pry out. You can do it with a flathead screwdriver or a kit that I'm going to show you in a moment. So you have 3 of them, but underneath here, that wire again, so I zip tied it to the black piece on the right that holds that bumper to the frame. I also put a zip tie around the actual metal bumper to help hold that wire up. This one just kind of dangles around, and then right here, can you see it? This is another one of those black pieces that holds the bumper to the frame, and I just zip tied my wire around there. This opening right here is actually where I ran wires up to the battery, and I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is the control module right up here. Now the control module also has a 3M sticky tape on the back, which I use to stick to a piece of the frame right here. I also put a zip tie around it to try to help hold it in place. you'll see that right here is kind of where that Y connector happens, and it splits off into the 2 strands of lights. So again, excess wire, just zip tied it to underneath the bumper, and I ran the other string of lights again through that gap and then up through the wheel well. Now again, like I said, all this is connected, so you don't want to just run your string through there. You want to actually pull the wheel well out and get the wires back behind there as you're going along. So I did the same thing on this side. You got them through there, the lights up underneath the truck, and then again through this spot as well. Come down and around, you'll have that wire that pops out, comes around, again, excess wire on the steps, and then my light strip across the top. Now this side, there were actually bolts with clips, so when you're laying these lights out, this part of the metal actually hooks into the frame and then it bolts down. So I want to make sure I missed all of these, and that has a few of them along the back. All right, and then back here, the light strips. This one I actually did run the light strip through just so I can get around everything. So you have like this tube here. See if I can move this down a little bit. Oh. Just a second, YouTube, sorry. Alright, so you have this tubing here, but I needed my wires to be on the other side. So I ran the light strip up through here, back through this part, and then again around the bump stop. I don't want anything to be in the way. Up across here, and I actually had to run the light strip above my gas tank inlet and pop it out above this piece right here. So you'll see I have excess wires, my zip ties on this piece, but again it just comes right around and goes right up to the wheel well here. Comes out right up into the wheel well, and the lights come in. To be honest, I would have liked them to be in this gap, but you have these weird bumps here, and I wasn't sure that that 3M stickiness was going to get around that, seeing how these are solid. So this was the best location within the truck for that. Now, whenever you're working on a vehicle, using the liners, the wheel wells, even installing car stereos, I recommend getting a set like this. I'll put links down below for the lights, this and this set as well, just so you guys can see. But in here you have all these plastic pieces, pry tools that help get door panels off, wheel liners, anywhere where there's really a clip, or even around the radio, so you can pry it off without damaging it. This particular set actually came with additional clips in case you ever break one. Unfortunately, clips on my wheel liners are not in this pack, so if I need to fix the ones that I broke, I actually got to go get them from Toyota. You have a bunch of different items in here, some picks, straight edges if you need it, but what I found for this job are these 2 picks here, as well as a flat pry tool. That was my best friend when getting my wheel liners off. I'll get that out in a second. Here you go. That, and then this one here, kind of flat, a little bit spread out at the V shape. So you can kind of see that one here. So with your hook tool, see if I can get my hands in here, you can come around the corner, kind of hook it in and pry it out. You can also get this hook tool up underneath it and push on that tab a little bit, when you're doing so, if you can, get your pry tool under here and use like a twisting motion to try to lift it up as you're going around. The other tool that was pretty helpful, again, was this one that has kind of more of a flat edge. You can get that in there and use this to pry as you're pushing these tabs in. Again, these are very difficult. They break easy. You just got to be gentle and kind of do one side at a time. Do one side, move to the other side, move to the other side, move to the other side, kind of like a back and forth until you pop it out. Again, this set is very useful to have anytime you're using wheel liners, door paneling, wind stereos, anything like that. For the battery, again, my control module is down here. I dropped a string through here and tied a string to the control module. I don't think you're gonna be able to see much, and then pulled it up. Here's the excess wire, zip tied and off to the side. I use these connectors, but I took wire cutters and I cut a piece on this end and a piece on this end, so it's more of like a V shape. And you just loosen your bolts a little bit, and you can drop this right in and then tighten it up so you don't have to pull the bolt all the way off and slide it in. You can, definitely up to you, that's a personal preference there, but I just found it easier to cut it, loosen the bolt a little bit, and push that on. Now, in your packet that you get with Govee, you get these additional pieces here. Where that U shape is, your light strip would fit in there, and then you have a place for screws, which also come in the pack. Now, you could do this into your frame. I wouldn't recommend it. I think the sticky 3M tape would work pretty well. Again, we'll see how it goes. It's only been on for about a day now. But if you wanted to do extras for your wheel wells, where I think this would be beneficial if you need it, you would literally take this piece, set it like that, and then put a couple screws on each end. This is plastic, so I drill them through there, no problem. I'm not going to mess anything up. Alright, so it's finally nighttime. You're going to turn these on. So you got the app. There's your lights. Now, part of these, as I mentioned, I didn't want them underneath, so you couldn't scrape them, or you didn't scrape them if you hit something. I also didn't want it to be so low on the side to where you could see them just by standing next to it, being near the vehicle. If you get up close, you can kind of see those light strips, but other than that, they're pretty hidden. We can come onto the app here, select all segments, change color, we can go to mic. It's windy, so it's changing to the sound of the wind and voice. And go to scene. So one thing that I forgot to mention when you're doing this, before you stick your lights on, you want to make sure you clean everything, clean the surface before you stick your lights on. So what I used was these Clorox wipes. Clean it really good, and then make sure it's dry before you stick it. That's going to help you out a lot, making sure that you get a good stick and that they stay on. Another thing that I wanted to show real quick was the difference of choosing colors. You can kind of do a set like this and go around in circles. You can even, for those extracurricular fun times, change it up. Give me just a second here. We'll do it on a cycle. Yeah, I thought that was fun. Please only do this when you're parked. You will be stopped very quickly. So there's the lights installed. Leave a comment if you like it. Thanks.